In the wake of that blaze, firefighters say volunteer reinforcements are sorely needed in multiple departments.
We have another round of freezing fog for tonight. Will it be an issue for your morning commute? I'll have the answer coming up.
And after summer storms and flooding, we're learning people in 4 Iowa counties won't be getting money that Governor Reynolds thinks they need.
Thanks for joining us. I'm George Mallet.
And I'm Katie Lang. First tonight, 2 families are without homes after a pair of weekend blazes. One fire in Austin resulted in $50,000 in damages, and the other in Albert Lea caused destruction to the tune of 6 figures. In smaller communities, including Austin and Albert Lea, local departments rely on neighboring cities often to assist. KIMT News 3's Jeremiah Wilcox joins us now with what firefighters are saying about this dilemma. Jeremiah.
Now take a look at these photos behind me. It's from a fire in Albert Lea that left a family without a home. And it happened Saturday night, and firefighters were able to put out the flames. But as you mentioned, they sure like some reinforcements.
First thought was that I hope everybody was all right.
Richard Herfindahl lives just down the street from the weekend fire that consumed a neighbor's home.
I could see the fire trucks and the smoke coming out of the house. And I tried to get down my street, but they had it blocked off, so I had to park a block over and walk back.
Herfindahl shows me the aftermath of the scene. All that's left is caution tape and a charred shell. Firefighters are still piecing together what happened.
It was just a residential fire. Nobody was home at the time. No injuries, luckily, because nobody was home. It was reported by a passerby, and fire crews were on scene for about 7 hours.
Albert Lea Fire Department tried to contain the fire. They called to Glenville to assist in dousing the stubborn inferno. Albert Lea Fire Chief Jeff Laskowski.
It's always nice to have extra hands. You know, it always comes down to cost a little bit with that.
The city is feeling the nationwide shortage of volunteer firefighters. Albert Lea is a combination department where they have full-time staff and volunteers. Although the department is fully staffed now, the chief says applications aren't coming in as they used to.
Everybody around the country struggling, from career firefighters to paid on call. We just aren't getting the numbers anymore of people that are looking for that career field and that opportunity.
I feel that they're a very important part of our system.
Albert Lea Fire Chief tells me the department is still investigating the cause of the fire, and he says it may have started in the basement because there is significant damage there.
All right, thank you, Jeremiah.
And you can head to KIMT.com to find out how you can volunteer your time.
Well, the Charles City woman accused of trying to kill her mother with insulin wants her trial to be moved. Jennifer Bean is charged with a laundry list of offenses, including attempted murder. The change of venue motion filed today referred to media coverage of her case, extending from Mason City to Waterloo. What's more, Bean describes herself as a well-recognized person in the Floyd County area. Prosecutors, though, say the publicity is less than prejudicial. A January 22nd change of venue request has been slated.
Meanwhile, Thomas Parcher is facing 3 years probation for his role in a deadly rollover crash in Cerro Gordo County. In December of last year, Parcher's passenger, Tanya Martin, was ejected during the crash. Parcher was allegedly driving with a blood alcohol content nearly twice the legal limit. Martin died at the scene near 190th Street and Zinnia Avenue. In addition to probation, Parcher must be evaluated for substance abuse and complete all recommended treatment.
Cocaine, marijuana, pills, and more than $12,000 in cash. Rochester police say all of that contraband in a unit at a lockaway storage last December was found. And now Cole Peterson is pleading guilty to drug possession. In exchange, other charges, including first-degree drug sales, being dismissed. Peterson's sentencing now slated for January 30th. While this morning's freezing fog has cleared out, there's a chance the frozen mist could make an encore later tonight. Oh, joy.
No, right. Let's check in now with KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Brandon Libby for all the details. Brandon.
Thank you, Katie and George. Again, we're on high alert for tonight, seeing that fog. As we look outside right now, we're checking out the Mason City Live Eye. Not a whole lot going on in terms of that fog. It's a very quiet night across North Iowa. The temperatures are falling back into the upper teens. Here's what we're seeing on the Albert Lee Live Eye. There's definitely something in the air reducing the visibility. Not much to worry about right now. Temperatures in Albert Lee in the lower 20s. Here's your current visibilities across the viewing area. We are down to 3 miles in Preston, but that is by far the lowest. Everywhere else, really nothing to worry about at this time. But two things I'm watching out for. When do the visibilities drop and what are the temperatures going to be? Obviously, we'll be below freezing for tonight. Temperatures falling to the lower to mid-teens. We do see that fog returning, I think, after midnight, getting into very early tomorrow morning. So freezing fog may be an issue once again. This was a scene over Albert Lee earlier on today with the trees all white covered in that frost. And we may see that again for tomorrow morning. Untreated roads may be slippery as the fog may deposit some ice onto the roads. Monday afternoon not looking bad. Then we're tracking a wintry mix for Monday night going into Tuesday night going into Wednesday, I should say. And we'll have more on the details with that coming up in just a few minutes. Guys, back to you.
All right. Thanks, Brandon. A recent decision from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, means Winnebago and 3 other Iowa counties won't be getting individual disaster assistance after summer flooding. This is a look at flooding in Forest City in late June. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds requested the Federal Individual Assistance Program be activated for residents and businesses after severe storms and flooding between June 6th and July 2nd. FEMA denied her request in late August, and now the agency is denying the governor's appeal.
Well, it's now been more than 2 months since President Trump paid a visit to Rochester. Tonight, increasing evidence taxpayers might have to pay for the costs tied to that presidential stop. Getting the president to that rally required a lot of coordination on the city's part. Rochester employees invested more than 1,400 hours on the presidential visit. Between personnel costs, resources, and equipment, well, that added up to a total of $76,000. That total does not include the 740 hours worked by the city's salaried employees. Well, we spoke with City Councilman Michael Wojak. He wants the public to know how tax dollars are being spent. He asked the city to keep track of the costs of the presidential visit on October 4th. He even crunched his own numbers. He says local taxpayers will be on the hook for closer to $100,000.
And part of my role here on the City Council is to bring transparency to the process, and I feel I've done that by putting those numbers out there, and how we address it is yet another step that we have to take.
Now, the city says it was not under the impression that it would be reimbursed because the trip was then classified as a presidential visit. Those with the city say they will be reaching out to the campaign to determine if there could be any reimbursement.
They build the streets you drive on and they put the roof over your head. But now there's a labor shortage in the construction industry.
And leaving a car to warm up prompts a car thief to make a move. Find out what this man is being accused of after the break.
KIMT News 3 at 6, live from Rochester. Your local news with Katie Lang and George Mallet. Tracking storms with Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sarah Knox. This is KIMT News 3, local news from your community. We are coverage you can count on.